Okay, guys, this is Wednesday. I think it's the 13th of May, and I'm going to try to do a test review lesson for you. And I'll tell you, those of you who are watching this, you're going to have a big advantage over the people who don't watch it because I'm going to give you a lot of hints and things that you will need that'll really benefit you to help you on the test tomorrow. Our test tomorrow is going to be on SchoolNet. It's 15 questions. Um, it's a good idea today to go ahead and look up your SchoolNet password username in case you forgot it. I know it's been a while since you used it, so I have a list of all the passwords and username at home. You can email me tomorrow if you forget it, but I'm hoping that you'll spend some time today kind of looking through. I don't know what you guys have at home. Maybe you have your old agenda or something with everything in it, but hopefully you can test and see if you can get in SchoolNet, and if you can't, just let me know, and I'll email you your information. Okay, here goes the review. So I'll just put at the top of this test review. I got 6 problems you need to see here. I think it's probably good. I did take some notes here. Today is May, I think it's the 13th. Problem number 1, right? Now let's just think about this. Our test is broken into 3 parts, okay? Pythagorean theorem is the first part. Then you're going to have a section that's on distance on the coordinate plane, and then you're going to have a section on midpoint. So I'm going to do 1 or 2 problems from each of those sections. Pythagorean theorem, first problem. Let's say that we have a picture that looks kind of like this, like an M, like my name. And you got right angles. And this point right here is point A, and this point over here is point B, right? And you've got measurements 24, 36, sorry, 40, 36, and 24. I know it's not proportional, guys. Just ignore that part. So, we're going to try to find the length of the line AB, okay? The distance from A to B right now, how long the line AB is. We're not doing distance on the coordinate plane. Excuse me, we're doing how long the line is. So you need to find out how long this leg is for this triangle, right? You guys see this is 2 pictures. And then find out how long this leg is of this triangle, and then add those together, right? So that's kind of the goal for this problem, to get a final answer right here, okay? So, grabbing the calculator here, I just thought I'd work these out for you right with y'all watching. So 40 squared, and I'm going to subtract 24 squared. That's going to give me 1224 square root 1024, excuse me. It's 32. This side here is 32. So I got 32 on this one. The other one is 36 squared, and I'm going to subtract 24 squared, right? Because I'm finding legs here, so you're going to subtract them. Subtract the squares is 720. For some reason, I don't think that's the right number. Maybe I wrote down something wrong. All right, so 720 square root gives me a decimal, like 26.8. All right, so we'll add 26.8 together with that. Looks like about, what, 58.8, if I don't make a mistake anywhere. All right, every problem that I'm doing for you on this review, you're going to have something like it on the test tomorrow. Again, SchoolNet test, you know they have a lot of word problems, so application problems. So again, just take good notes here, and hopefully you'll be okay. Second problem, number 2, this is still on the Pythagorean theorem. Just review what it means to be a Pythagorean triple, right? And so, like, if I give you these 2 sets of numbers, and I'm asking you which one is a Pythagorean triple, then what they're asking you is which set of numbers could be the 3 sides of a right triangle. And you run a test for that, right? We did that before. It's been a few weeks. But you test the numbers to see if it works. Your largest number is always going to be the hypotenuse numbers, and your 2 smallest numbers are the legs. So let's do this triangle first and see if it's a right triangle. 2 and 3 are the legs because they're the smallest. So you're doing 2 squared plus 3 squared. All right, there's lots of ways to do this. I know I taught it to you before, but I'm just going to work the legs and see what we're supposed to get for the hypotenuse. If we get 4, exactly 4, then this one's a right triangle. If we don't, it's not a right triangle. 4 plus 9 equals to like 13. And you already know this is not a right triangle because the square root of 13 is not going to be 4. It's 3.60. So the square root of that, 3.60, tells me that this triangle here is not a right triangle, which means that 2, 3, and 4 are not three numbers that form a Pythagorean triple. Let's look at 5, 12, 13. All right, so if I do the two legs, 5 squared plus 12 squared, I'm pretty sure that equals 169. When I square root that, I get 13. It's an exact match, which means that these two numbers make up legs for 13, which is the hypotenuse. That means these three numbers are a Pythagorean triple. They make a right triangle, okay? All right, so this is, yes, it's a right triangle. All right, you can go back and study over that a little bit. Question 3, we're switching to distance, okay? So the second part of the test is on distance on the coordinate plane. You have two methods. You can either count blocks on the graph, or you can use the formula, which we're going to use quite a bit. The formula is just a kind of a spin-off to Pythagorean theorem. We talked about that earlier. So, all right. So let's say we have a graph here. I'm just going to sketch a graph. I'm just not even going to do that. I'm going to go by fives. I'm doing this on purpose because the one that's on the test is this way. 5, 10, 15, 25. Sorry. 10. I skipped 15 here. My bad. Let's make it right. I knew something wasn't right over here. Alright, sorry. Been a long day. 5, 10, 15, and 20. Okay, here we go. So let's say that I have a point A at 5 and 15. I have a point B at 15 and 5. Now, remember, if you're on graph paper right now, right, this is what's tricky. If I actually had graph lines here, I think this is purple. So I had lines going across here, you know, like that. And I had lines going here like this. Then you could, to find the length of my red line, you could count blocks and use the right triangle, right? I mean, y'all, you know that we could do like we did before, just make the right triangle, count the blocks, 2 squared plus 2 squared, 2 squared is 4, 4 makes 8, and the square root of 8 we know is going to be like 2.9. I'm not using a calculator here, I'm just approximating. That's not what this is because the scale is by fives. If you want to count blocks, you got to count the right scale if you want to count blocks. So this would be like 5 blocks, 10 blocks. So this side of this triangle would be 10. This side would also be 10. So we would actually have here 10 squared plus 10 squared, which is 100, and 100 is 200. And the square root of that's, I don't know, somewhere in the neighborhood of 14.2. Let me look it up. 14.14, right? It might be the case that on the test tomorrow you don't count the blocks. Above point A it says 5 and 15, and above point B it says 15 and 5. And you decide you'd rather use the formula, right? So we can use the formula here. So 5, 15. 15 and 5. Let's just review the formula real quick. So on the formula we got x minus x squared. I don't care if it's x1, x2, whatever. Plus y minus the y squared. Square root of it all, right? Equals to the distance between the 2 points. So x is, sorry, my phone's ringing. 15 minus 5 gives me a 10. Minus 5, that's 10. Squared plus the other side's 15 minus 5, which equals 10, right? So that's 100 plus 100, which makes 200, and we're square rooting, and we get the same answer we had up here. Y'all know that already, 14.14. All right, so that's question 3. Let's go to question 4. All right, on 4. Okay, I skipped the problem, guys. It dealt with Pythagorean theorem that you need to see. So we're going to go back. This question 4, but this is back on Pythagorean theorem. I skipped one. We got a triangle that looks like that. It's an isosceles triangle. Both of these sides are 41. It's not a right triangle. It's an isosceles triangle. 41's, bottom is 80. Your job is to find the area. Okay, now y'all know everything that you need to know to solve this. All right, so we're finding the area. Y'all need to know that the area of a triangle, y'all supposed to know this, we've covered this year, equals to a half times the base times the height. So if we look at our picture, what we need to know is this line and this line, which we don't have, right? But notice by me drawing that little line, we've created right triangles. So we're actually going to use the Pythagorean theorem, and you only got to use it one time. Say if you want to just study this side for a minute, look at that right triangle. Let's find the length of this leg L, right? So I'm going, now what we got to do is 80 is not going to be the length of this leg. 80 is going to be the length of the whole bottom. So we got to use half of that. So technically you're going to use a 40. So I need 41 squared minus 40 squared. And I think, if I did this right a while ago, it's 81. Square root that, it's 9. So our little height here, which was this little L, this little leg, is a 9. Okay? So you can use that now in my area formula. So I need the area of 1/2 times, we said the whole base of this triangle was 80. That red line was 80. 1/2 times 80 times the little height, which we just found, was 9. Times 9. So I key that in the calculator. I believe that's coming up to 40 times 9, which is 360. Area is 360, okay? You're going to have one like that on the test for sure. All right, now we're going to number 5. 5 is a question about, I like this problem a lot. That's why I put it on the test. So you got one like this. You got a road that's what they call an existing road. That means it's already there. Okay? This is your existing road. On a map, it's got coordinates 4 and 13, and it's got coordinates 2 and 1. They're going to build a new road. That new road is going to go from the center of this old road to this new town or whatever it might be, to this location. Okay? But the coordinates of that new location is 10 and 4. Right? All right, so and this is the new road in red. All right, your job is to find the length of the new road. How long is the new road? Okay, that's your question. So let's think about what we need. In order to find the length of the new road, that's a distance problem, right? The distance. And since you're dealing in coordinates here, you're going to assume that you're going to be doing distance on the coordinate plane. You're not doing something like Pythagorean theorem or anything like that. Just distance on the coordinate plane. So in order to do distance on the coordinate plane, I need to know the coordinates of those 2 points right there. I got this one, but I don't have this one. When the problem, it told me that this red point right here is on the middle of this road. It's the midpoint. So if we could find the midpoint of this point, of this line, that point, then we can use that order pair and this order pair on the distance formula to find the length of the new road. Got it? So I'm going to use the midpoint formula, which is 4 plus 2 divided by 2 for the x's, and 1 plus 13 divided by 2 for the y's. So how about 6 over 2 is 3, and 14 over 2 is 7. So I'm liking 3, 7 right here for the midpoint, 3 and 7. Okay? And then we got 10 and 4 for the other point. So now, I'm going to run this through the through the distance formula. Oh, what's going on? I don't know what's going on here with the tablet. So I got a 3 and a 7 and a 10 and a 4. And just like on the last problem, we're just going to kind of, x minus x, 10 minus 3 gives you 7 squared. And we're going y minus y, 7 minus 4, that's 3 squared. And we're going to subtract those. Sorry, we're going to add these. We're doing legs here. And square root. So how about 49 plus 9 is 58? So I think we're needing the square root of 58 to be our answer. That's the distance, right? Of course, I'm just about without my calculator. So square root 58 equals to about 7.61. So 7.61 miles or whatever for that. Again, I just kind of wanted you to see how we're going to use midpoint and distance in the same problem. You do have one like this on the test. It's a good problem. It's not anything hard. You guys can handle it. Okay. All right, last problem. So I've got a square on a coordinate plane. I'm not going to write all this out, but I know 1, 1 is about here. I got 8, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4 is about here. I got 3, 6, 1, 2, 3, 6 is about here. And I got 6, negative 1. 3, 4, 5, 6, negative 1. Okay. What's supposed to happen here? And again, if I had graph paper on here, you guys could see. These 4 points are supposed to make a square. Okay. All right. And the question is, I want to know the exact point where the diagonals cross. So if you draw diagonals, and you draw diagonals, I want to know that point, the coordinates of that point. Okay, so this is a midpoint problem, and you can, since it's a square, you only got to work it one time, guys, just once. So I mean, I've got, like, let's say I want to work this line right here. I'll just do that line. That's it. So let's say I'll do, this was a 1, 1, and the other one was an 8, 4. I'll just get the midpoint for that real quick. It's going to be fraction. You can be able to look on graph paper and tell this is a fraction answer, no question. 8 plus 1, that's 9 over 2. 9 over 2 is 4.5. And 1 plus 4 makes 5. Let's just do 1 plus 4 makes 5 over 2. 5 over 2 is 2.5. All right, so there's your midpoint. And because it's a square, it has to be the same. If you checked it with the other points, it would have to give you the same point. Okay, so this would be the ordered pair where the 2 diagonals cross. It's the middle, right? All right, I hope this review helps you for the test. I would take good notes here, and good luck tomorrow. Like I said, please look up SchoolNet information today, so you'll be good to go for the test tomorrow, and hopefully you do okay. By the way, the score you get on the test, I'm going to curve it a little bit. I think SchoolNet's probably going to count about 8 or 7 points each. I'm probably going to count them 5 points each. So understand that you'll probably make a little bit higher than what SchoolNet actually gives you. You know how your score is going to be shared right away, so know that. Number 2, all the test questions are all mixed up, jumbled up, different test questions and that kind of thing for security purposes. So, but you're going to need some scratch paper and everything to help you with the test, but I think you all be fine. All right. Good luck.